Hello, my name is Talmadge Clark, and I will be speaking to you today on a SWOT analysis based on Nike's social CSR practices. I will provide recommendations as to what Nike can do to better their social CSR practices. Listed here are strengths that Nike has when dealing with CSR practices. The company has goals that tackle equality issues to not only help within the company, but outside the company as well. They also have vast amount of funds dedicated to CSR practices. Nike is the industry's top leader in CSR practices. They have a plan that includes 29 target goals, all to be reached by 2025. Each target was created with a purpose to help accomplish Nike's mission to focus on people, planet, and play. Here we have Nike versus Adidas total revenue over the last 5 years. As you can see, Nike surpasses Adidas every year. A target goal is to donate over $135 million to various communities and purposes, working to level the playing field, granting scholarships, and donating apparel and money. Despite these strengths, no company is without weakness. Nike's weaknesses are as followed. They have an uneven market share, and they are reliant on the sports industry for their successes. In 2021, Nike's total revenue was $44 billion, with $17 billion of that being US dollars. This is where competitors such as Adidas have an advantage over Nike. Adidas is based in Germany. They have a strong European following, and their market is more equally spread across the globe. The total revenue in 2021 for Adidas was $21.8 billion, with $4.8 billion of that being US dollars. Adidas has largely established their CSR practices in Europe and Asia, though, whereas Nike has CSR programs in those areas as well. However, they are not nearly as prominent as Adidas programs are. Adidas uses more of their time, resources, and money in those specific areas and are better able to understand consumers because of the company's location. With the lack of sports not taking place during the COVID-19 pandemic, programs and initiatives that Nike had were not taking place. This was a crucial time for Nike to think of ways to get kids active at home through technology, and to even create new initiatives that could be done at home, but they did miss the mark and didn't do anything at all during this time of Q1 in 2020. There are several opportunities, though, for that Nike has. The few that I wanted to focus on are endorsing college athletes and creating programs for countries' needs. The picture shown here is of a UCLA soccer player named Raylan Turner. She's the first ever college athlete to be endorsed by Nike. In July 2021, the NCAA ruled that college athletes could now be paid based on their name, likeness, and image. This gives Nike a huge opportunity to make strides in communities across the country. From a Nike News article written about Raylan, it says, Nike has always been honored to partner with athletes who share its belief that sport can break barriers, push limits, spark change, and contribute to creating a more equitable future. Nike's agreements with college student athletes in the United States will include an element that connects back to their local communities. Because the impact of sport goes beyond competition and success, it's also about the changes you can make to give everyone an opportunity for a more level playing field. Here, this statement helps to ensure that people know that the athletes that Nike will be endorsing won't just be pretty faces, but that they will make strides in their local communities. Endorsing more athletes will help contribute to Nike's overall CSR practices. Another opportunity Nike has is to make more programs available in other countries. Nike is very America-focused, but not enough time, energy, and resources are being used in countries where the Nike brand is popular, such as countries in Europe and Asia, where Adidas has a pretty good hold on those countries. There is one threat that I do want to cover, and that is the misrepresentation of the company or of the brand. I mentioned previously about Nike having a large opportunity to endorse more US college athletes. However, there are some threats that tag along with that opportunity. Athletes have their own thoughts and opinions, just as any human does. The risk lies in athletes sharing opinions that don't align with Nike's mission, or even worse, getting into legal trouble. For example, in 2014, 3 University of Oregon basketball players unfortunately raped a freshman student at a party after winning a game. This occurred before the March Madness tournament took place. The 3 basketball players were still permitted to finish out the season and permitted to play, despite a report being filed against them. Nike and its founder Phil Knight are large sponsors at the University of Oregon. This made Nike look really bad, even though the players themselves were not specifically sponsored by Nike, but the team and the university are sponsored by Nike. In regards to this case, Nike did not take a stance on the issue, which in turn made matters worse in the public eye. For this, if this were to happen with endorsed athletes, it could bring a lot of damage to the Nike brand and to the company. All of this research has led me to this point. What recommendations would be beneficial for Nike at this moment in order to continue to increase CSR practices? The 2 recommendations that I have are to endorse more college athletes and to increase made-to-play campaigns in various countries. I mentioned in the opportunity section that college athletes are now able to be endorsed based off their name, likeness, and image. Aside from Raylan Turner, Nike has not specified how many college athletes they have since endorsed. I would recommend that Nike endorse more college athletes because of how many communities could be reached. These athletes are able to get out into their communities more often than professional athletes are and do good to the causes that they care about. This in turn would help Nike expand the causes that they support through those athletes that they do sponsor. Pictured here is a map of all the public universities in the United States. The possibilities are virtually endless when it comes to choosing athletes to represent Nike. And they can make strides in communities that they might not have as good of a hold on as well. Not only will these athletes reach a variety of communities across the country, but it would be cheaper than endorsing professional athletes as well. Nike has not directly said how much sponsored athletes are making, but one can infer that they are paying student athletes less than professional athletes due to where these college athletes are in their careers. Let's take Michael Jordan, for example. In 2019, it is estimated that he made $130 million from his Jordan brand. I know college athletes wouldn't be making $130 million a year from Nike by being endorsed by them. But just think about if you took $1 million and gave that to 130 different college athletes all over the country, and think about how many communities that money could go to, and how that money could help the athlete help the communities that they live in and that they go to school in. My final recommendation is based off of one of the weaknesses I mentioned previously, which is Nike's market share being primarily US based. Nike has the resources to create something incredible in countries where sports aren't a priority to most, especially for girls. But it isn't enough to just implement what the company already has for the US. It is crucial that Nike create programs specifically geared towards countries and the needs they present. With the recent introduction of the Nike hijab seen here in this picture, more girls and women can easily get out and play in North America and around the world despite cultural norms. Nike has donated 3,000 hijabs just over in the last year, but donation of the hijab would go farther by introducing programs to teach these girls how to play a variety of sports. This could be coupled with their apparel and equipment donations as well. Girls will feel more empowered by Nike to not only play the sport that they love, but feel empowered in their everyday lives and tackle social injustice issues and barriers they face. Creating programs similar to this around the world will dramatically affect Nike's brand image in those countries and in North America as well. I thank you for allowing me to present to you today. If you have any further questions, you can reach me by phone or email with one of the business cards I will provide with you. I hope that you will consider my recommendations, endorsing college athletes and tailoring initiatives to specific countries. Doing this will only help Nike's mission of people, planet, and play. Thank you.